It is March. It's the end of March, nearly the end of our financial year. In fact, 3 days off of that. And we haven't done this since January. So let's start with a market comment.
Well, I'm a little bit worried, to be fair, because I went to have a coffee this morning around at the McFadden mansion, and an espresso machine doesn't work.
I
So
know.
I started to worry whether the market's been a bit tough.
Don't. And these coffee cups are just props. We haven't even got anybody coffee in them. But
So I'll be talking to John about a new espresso machine. But
you'll have to.
the market's been interesting. I was thinking this morning of a bit of an analogy of how to describe it, and I mean the description I've got is choppy waters.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not the hardest market that I've been in. That's the GFC crisis 2008, and that was really, really tough because there was no
Nothing
buyers.
happening, yeah.
Nothing happening,
Yeah.
no buyers, just
Yeah.
no movement. This is a market where choppy waters means, in my opinion, there's a lot of challenges. So if you've got the wrong person at the helm, you're going to run into trouble.
Yeah.
But if you've got the right person at the helm, and you listen to what they're going to say, and they're giving you genuine advice, because I think one of the things at the moment is that there's a lot of agents out there not making many sales. So maybe they're giving you conflicting advice that suits them.
So a little bit of self-interest
Yeah,
perhaps
I
in
think
the
so.
in the advice, or potentially an agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the results never lie. So like the people and the businesses and the companies that are still putting sales on the board and still performing really well are doing it right. And there's a lot of people at the moment that are doing it wrong. And there's a lot of vendors getting in trouble with the choppy waters.
Yeah.
And choppy waters means price expectations from buyers, price expectations from sellers. It means tough negotiations. It means RVs that are moving.
Good processes.
Good processes
Good
behind
processes.
it. Disappointing advertising or marketing. All these sort of things are sort of magnified at the moment. It's definitely not smooth out there. We're working really hard for our sales, but the sales are still there. I had an auction a couple of weeks ago, which was bought forward at 3.2 million. And we got $400,000 extra bidding. It was amazing. So those sales are still there, and there's plenty of sales being done. The other thing to talk about is not every sale has been done on auction day under the hammer. So there's a real big cleanup in the next few weeks after auction. So auction's a process.
Yeah.
We know it's a process, and in a booming market, a lot of them are getting sold. I think when we were really booming, we were getting maybe 70, 80% sold under the hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, we're down around 50.
Yes.
But there's a real nice cleanup
Yes.
if the process is right in the next few days.
I mean, everybody's motivated. There certainly is. We're noticing, okay, our auction day is Thursday, and then by the time we get together as a team on Monday to review everything, we've got at least, a really strong, another 20 or 30% of those properties dealt with, which is really good. And I think sometimes it's because everybody's had a bit of a breather.
Yeah.
The emotions kind of gone back down again.
Honestly, a little bit.
Yes, everybody's ego. And owners just sort of think, hey, I know that wasn't my dream price, but it is actually probably a fair price, and I can expect the same things to happen when I'm out buying, so that's the case. But there's been, there's all sorts of things happening in that dynamic, isn't there? There's a lot of energy and emotion.
How do you describe it from a company level?
Okay, well, the way that I have been describing it lately, and I know we've spoken about it, and it comes from a visit that I made to Sydney, to Brassic Whitney, and that there is at any time two marketplaces. Okay, like there's the macro market, which is the market determined by the OCR, interest rates, banks and governments. And then there's the micro market that we notice in our own business or in our own city. So our micro market is that we're having a very strong month. So we've got the best people in the industry working with the majority of owners. And I think that, the choppy waters that we see with our guys, they are smoothing those waters. They kind of know what to do. They will say the things that sometimes are a little bit difficult, but say it in a way that they won't lose the parties. They won't put buyers off, and they will hold owners for the journey. And I'm noticing that our guys smooth those waters. And you hadn't shared the analogy with me, but it just makes sense to me at the moment. So there's two different markets active at any time, and that's why sometimes you can't understand what's happening locally or in the moment or in an auction rooms where, we're told that things are really tough, and they are certainly challenging, but that you'll get results like the ones you've just spoken about.
Yeah.
you know?
One of the things that we talked about before was that the stock levels, essentially, we've got 5 months of stock
They're high.
already on the market at the
they're
moment.
high.
So this is the challenge at the moment.
It is. I mean, I really noticed that. I went round to my beautiful parents' home, and where they have lived for 57 years. It's the only home Mum and Dad have ever had. And down the street were, I think there's 4 left now, but there were 6 properties for sale.
Yeah.
And 4 of them are all for auction. And I've never seen that. You know, my dad, who doesn't really sort of notice these things as much as I do, said, gosh, there's a lot for sale. And I think when, like, you know, older folks are noticing, then it's bloody obvious.
Well, if he's noticing it, and
It's
he's
bloody
not
obvious,
buying.
yeah.
This is the issue at the moment. Is it doesn't matter what interest rates are doing. It doesn't matter what the economy's doing. If there's an oversupply of stock, there's challenges. And a buyer at the moment, I mean, it is a buyer's market. You know, I said that.
Yes, let's be open about that. Yes, there's nothing to hide in that.
Yeah.
The market, the little sort of needle that favours one side or the other is definitely favouring those buyers. Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to change. There's a lot of people poised waiting for the market to go up in a very short space of time. I personally don't see that.
Yeah.
I think that we've got a year, if not 18 months of this market. And there's nothing wrong with this market. It's just that we're not selling houses where they, at the same price levels we would have got them a year ago, probably even 6 months ago.
Unless there's something really special driving, like maybe a deadline or an emotional love affair that you've got to have that home, which is what happened to you when you saw that enormous increase.
There was emotion behind the logic, and it was
Absolutely
competition. It
emotional.
was direct competition, 2 extremely wealthy guys fighting for the same property. But at the moment, a buyer, when they're looking for a property, they feel that they've got choice. They feel that they've got time. They feel that they've got options. They can measure what's a very good house, and they can benchmark it against the house that's not so good.
I mean, they know their stuff, don't they?
They know their prices.
That's what I'm noticing, you know, because we always, often pop into open homes just to see what's kind of happening, and especially because, you know, as managers and owners, we support our people who are auctioning their homes, so we'll pop in and have a wee look. But the buyers know their stuff.
Yeah. I love this market. It's tough. I mean, I get home. I've got a broken foot at the moment, but I get home and I'm sore.
He fell in the pool. He fell in the pool trying to clean it, not looking at what he was doing, and just fell in.
Had a senior moment at 46. But I think I love this market. I think, but as I said, by the time I get home, I'm exhausted at the end of the day because we're fighting for ourselves. But I tell you what, it keeps you sharp.
Yeah.
And the best part that I love about real estate is the negotiation and the cut and trust.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it at the moment. The negotiations that we're doing in the auction rooms are tough. There's a lot more skill involved in them.
Well, that's your superpower too, you know.
But also just to make everyone feel like they're having a little bit of a win. So that the key to real estate is making the owners feel that they've got a great price and showing them that, but also the buyers, you know, feeling that they've got a fair buy in this market. And that's bringing them together. So many people can't bring them together, and they have an owner and a seller walk out the door and no one thanks you for not selling the house.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. So that's our market snapshot.
Yep.
Be with the right people, avoid those choppy waters, or if you're in choppy waters, look for someone who calms those, and you certainly do that.
Choose who your captain is. It's really important at the moment, you know, because choppy waters get rougher if you have the wrong person at the helm.
Well, inevitably, you'll sink, quite. And that's what's going to happen.
Sink or not sound.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we
got some questions?
We have got some...
We
have got some questions, bloody. I'm supposed to be doing this first.
I'm going to be Lynette to it, so I'm going to ask her one. So this is from Georgia.
Okay.
How do you handle setbacks or failures, and what have you learned from them?
Oh, Georgia. Well, I'd had so many setbacks and failures. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, I'm at an age and a stage now where they don't set me back. If I'm on a particular mission, I just see it as part of the journey. So I don't see anything as an absolute destination now. I see it more as a journey, and I think the journey's made more interesting by setbacks and failures and challenges. And I look back and I think all the things that I've achieved in my life that I have really had enormous challenges with, and I've had a lot in this career, and transitioning to different stages in business ownership, I had a lot of those, and I think they were all good lessons. You know, I mean, you've obviously got me at a good time, because otherwise I could start crying with how bad some of it's been. But no, I handled them. I try to handle them with grace. I try to handle them with grace, and I look and I think about the lesson. What was the lesson in there? You know, and I tend to do something. I think it's from Steve Covey, from the 7 Habits, and I look in the mirror, not out the window.
Yeah.
So if something goes wrong, I don't think, hey, all you guys, you're responsible. I look and think, how did I allow that to happen, or what did I do that contributed to that? So,
which is what most people don't do. They fall into victim mentality, and they blame everyone else but themselves. But the only one that they can really blame is themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite similar to that. I think it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
I think that I'm always looking for the good in everything, and I'm looking for the lesson. I'm looking how I can be better. And
share that saying that you've shared with me.
There's only good in good.
There's only good and good.
That's my feeling, and I think that if you look for the good in it, then there's no bad. And I mean, we had a funeral in the family last week, and we had the funeral on Saturday, and Kim's father passed away last week, and it was terrible. And it's the girl's grandfather, and it's the first sort of father figure in the family that we've lost, and it hurt, and it hurt a lot. But so much good come from it. And even I was just actually talking to Kim before, and there's so much good that comes from it, because it's brought the family together, and it's brought grandchildren together, and it's made us reassess wills, and it's made us. There's so much good that comes from it, but it's really easy to get bogged down. When it first happened, we were left with a lot of regrets, and we didn't see him enough, and we should have seen him on Sunday, and this and that, and it was just blame, and it was just, you can't change it. But as soon as we started to see the good, then and we were missing terribly, but there's so much good that come from it.
Yeah.
So I think it's not about failures; it's about seeing the good, so you can improve to be a better real estate agent, you can be a better person, a better father, a better friend.
Yeah.
Whatever comes from it, it's about being better and making small improvements, because I think that's the important stuff.
I like it.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Georgia, there we go. So it's my turn. It better be a jolly difficult one. Oh, it's a little bit funny. We'll see how this goes. Okay, if you had your own real estate reality TV show, imagine it, what would the title be?
Well, this is an interesting one.
That's interesting. Shall we come back to it?
I don't think I'd make a TV program, because I just don't think it's real. I think from what I know about the reality TV programs and real estate is that, and there has been real estate TV programs, and I know that behind the scenes, they're not true. Yeah. I know that the agents that were portrayed in the TV were representing listings that weren't theirs. It was all staged. I just thought it was fake, and I'm not into fake. I just think there was no integrity, there was no genuineness in the whole program, and that's just not me. And it's not. I think it's a bad thing for the industry. So I would never be in that. To be honest.
I mean, this is as close as we're ever going to get to anything that's like that. And I guess we've tried to always be, right from the very start, as authentic as we can be, very open and honest and transparent.
I think to me, we've talked about that. So I think that's one of the keys to life, is actually finding out who you really are and trying to be your most authentic self. I think most people aren't that. They're trying to be someone who they think they should be. Yeah. I mean, you spend a lot of time trying to get into that right place. And, I'm still not there yet, but I think I'm heading in the right direction. And I know first thing is identifying that all of that stuff's not what you're chasing.
Yeah. So no TV for us. No TV. That's gone. It's gone. So no title, nothing. Here we go.
So this is from Liz.
Okay.
What is the most unusual or bizarre property you've ever sold, or what has been your most memorable sale property?
Shoot. There has been the odd, very bizarre home. I don't want to talk about some of them, but I will talk to you about one. I'm a very spiritual person, and so I get feelings from homes. We once lived in a home we only lived in it for a short period, and I was scared silly. Every time I was in the bathroom, I used to get really, really frightened. I think something happened in there in that space that wasn't good. And my beautiful mother used to feel frightened in the house, so much so that she ran my uncle, who was a minister, to bless the house from a distance because we were worried. But I once went to a house and I went there and I went with John and we went in and we walked around and we left and we never went back again because the foreboding feeling in the home was so overwhelming that we just couldn't be in it. So that is something that's never left me. I mean, there's been lots of extraordinary homes and lots of beautiful homes, lots of cool homes, but that was just one that was just, it was a bit overwhelming. So I remember that. I remember that.
I so much don't remember the houses. I remember the people and the experiences and the conversations. And I know I've talked about this in other podcasts, but I still remember a guy that I sold a house for, and their whole plan. There were so many lessons that come from this, and I'll quickly go over it. So, they were just average Kiwis. They had normal jobs. He works as a computer programmer. She worked at a special needs school, and their whole goal in life was to get to, I think it was 62, and they were going to retire. They were going to sell the properties that they had and travel the world and enjoy the hard work and the money that they'd saved up. So they'd probably sacrificed a lot in those 60 years to get to where they were. And they had quite a few properties. So the first lesson that come from it is you don't need to be a doctor or a rock star or anyone to build up, millions of dollars of wealth on property. You just had to buy property, pay them off, and just do as simple as that. So they amassed huge wealth through a simple income just by being brave and just doing the basics. The second thing was that when I went to start selling these properties, the lady was diagnosed with cancer, and they didn't know what to do, but they decided to push on with the process because she was given 18 months to live. Unfortunately, she passed away 4 weeks later, 2 days before the auction of their property, and it was heartbreaking. And I remember the guy come up to me and he said to me, "We've done it all wrong. We haven't enjoyed the time on the way through. We've sacrificed everything to get to somewhere we're never going to get to." And he said, that was the biggest mistake of my life, And so he actually gave all his children some money, 3 children, so that they could enjoy the money and make their lives better from that day rather than wait into 65. And I just thought a lot of good lessons with that is enjoy the day, there may never be tomorrow. Wealth can be created for anybody, not just super successful people on high income. So it's just getting your foot on the ladder and then slowly moving your way up the steps.
I think it's a little bit like what I just spoke about. The way I look at life is more the journey rather than your destination. For him, the destination was, we'll get to this age, darling, and we're going to have a fantastic retirement, fantastic decades together, traveling and doing things we'd always dreamed about. I need to find that person wasn't by his side.
I've been guilty of that. I was so focused on still guilty of it. Still can't get out of the treadmill sometimes. Like I'm guilty of just putting my head down, providing for my family, thinking that I'm gonna have all this success and wealth and enjoy it, in the later years of my life, and I may never get there. So what for if you don't enjoy it?
Especially with these senior moments that are creeping up.
Hey, it was one moment.
Okay, so I think we've managed that. We've managed. So is it my turn?
Yep.
Right.
Let's try and put out a real estate.
Right, a non-real estate one. There's quite a lot. So are we saying non-real estate?
It's one a non-real estate one.
Oh, everybody wants to know about real estate.
I think it's on everyone's mind.
I know, guys.
I'll just choose one.
Okay, this is nice. This is non-real estate. A little
You
bit
can go
long.
first because I think this is isn't it? My time. How do you measure your success beyond just sales numbers? And that's from Jacob.
Okay, Jacob. Okay, so maybe because obviously that's a Cameron-centric question, but how do I measure success beyond physical things? I think about a family that loves you, children that still talk to you when they are adults, not just children, mates to have a barbecue with, in a kind and warm and open heart. I think if you've got people in your corner, you know, and you feel good about yourself, and you're making a contribution, then that's pretty darn successful. And I think that because because of the industry we're in and the life we've created, you do meet people along the way who've had extreme financial success, but if they wanted to have a barbecue, they'd probably have to pay people to come, so it doesn't seem to me to be successful.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's what do you determine success as being? And for me, it's those simpler things. But I do so get the hunger of trying to get where you want to be, because I had that for many years, and I still have a very strong drive to succeed, but it's for different reasons.
Look, I think coming fresh out of a funeral last week, it puts everything into perspective. When you see a soulless body laying on the table, you soon realise that it doesn't matter what you've got.
Yeah.
It's what you do.
Yeah.
And who you've done it.
Who you've been. Yeah, who you've done it with. Yeah.
And people don't talk in your funeral about how much money you've got. They talk about your adventures, they talk about who you were as a person, and they talk about fun times, and sometimes they talk about hard times.
Yeah. Or how you affected them. What effect you had on their life, that person had on your life. Yeah.
I think, forgetting money, I think one of the most important things is time.
Yeah.
And money can give you time.
Yeah.
So that's where money is so important, I guess, is that it can free up time, and if you can use that time for adventures or family.
Or giving back, community
back.
stuff. Yeah.
And I read a great quote. I was listening to another podcast yesterday, and it was I think it was Zig Ziglar, and it was about you can have everything you want in life, but it comes from helping others.
Yeah.
And the more people that you help, you'll have more yourself.
Yeah.
And I really love that, because it's true. I see that and that's a philosophy of gold.
It is. That's what I was just thinking. I think that's why our business is so incredibly successful, because it's underpinned by a desire to give.
Yeah.
To give help, to give support, to help with open days. You go out mentoring with people to give back to our communities, so that they want to deal with us. I think that's a really strong ethos.
We were talking the other day about one of the other, and I'll share something with you. When Lynette and I have a one-on-one about my real estate business, we don't talk about real estate. And I know that a lot of Lynette's sessions with the other agents is not so much about doing this numbers and doing this many sales, and you must have this many auctions and stuff like this. And it's about how you can be happy and how you can have more abundance in your life of all these other things, which and then will make more real estate sales. And our one-on-ones and our philosophy within Gold is a lot more holistic. Whereas we just had another agent come over from another company, and she said all her one-on-ones were about numbers.
Yeah.
And it was boring. It was, you've got to do this, and you've got to do so many calls, and you've got to do so many door knocks, and you need so many listings. And, it's like telling your 6-year-old children something. If you tell them something, it just...
Pick up your books. Pick up your books, put your stuff away, come up to the table. I mean,
They aren't real one-on-ones, are they? No. I mean, what do you think of that?
I think that that's very true, Cam. I think that it's funny you should say this, because I've had a really good friend of yours and mine ring me up this morning. He's got a review with one of the people that work for him, and he said, this is what's happening, what do I do? And so we spoke about the commercial aspect of it, but then I said we have to be more holistic. Sleep, what's happening, what sort of exercise are we doing, what are they thinking before they come to work, what are they telling themselves, are they listening, are you listening? And then he told me some other things, and I said, hey, your questions need to be better. My challenge is to all those managers and real estate coaches out there, stop the preaching, more listening, and then engage completely. And I think one of the things that I'd encourage people to do is be totally in the moment. Like if I'm with someone, I'm totally in the moment, in their side, on their boat, rowing bloody beside them.
I think from having a lot of one-on-ones and mentoring sessions with you over the years, and I think Lynette's the best real estate coach in New Zealand, I really do. And I mean, the proof's in the pudding, because look at me, So, and I started at the very bottom, but I think one of the things you can do, I liken you to looking at a diamond polisher, and they've got this rough, uncut gem, and they can see how it's going to be shaped. And that's what you do. You chisel away at the edges, and you see the real person inside them, and you see the real estate agent, and you see the real person, and you can see the whole package. And I think that's your ability. And that's your special power.
Yeah, that's my superpower.
That's your superpower.
Yeah, that's my superpower.
And people that meet Lynette, and they probably have preconceived ideas.
They always do.
And we've got someone who's coming to gold from another company at the moment, a very successful agent. And I'm talking to them, this is what she said to me. And, she had a preconceived idea of what you were like through your,
it's through the success, isn't it?
Through the success. And all they assume is that you're after numbers and sales and money. And then the difference when she met you was black and white.
Yeah.
And she could feel the holistic energy and that you actually genuinely cared and actually genuinely wanted her to be a better person. And that's the feedback that I got. And I haven't told you that.
No, you didn't.
So I can't tell you everything.
No, just about. But I mean, I think that's the thing. I think sometimes with very successful companies, our company's been at the top of its game for decades. It's had that really long, consistent drink at success. I think people think the only way you get it is to be totally focused on results.
Yeah.
And I think rather than focused on people.
Yeah.
And you're never going to last the distance if you're that kind of person.
No.
And I guess it's so hard to go out and sort of preach or teach that, but I think that it's slow. It's more when people come to meet us, they think, oh yeah, what I've been told or what I saw, it's not what exists.
The other thing you do is that, like a good real estate agent, they'll tell you what you want to, what you need to know rather than what you want to hear. And I think a lot of mentors and coaches and business owners they're almost scared of their agents.
Yeah.
They're scared they're going to leave. They're scared they're going to stand up to them. So they just tell them what they want to hear. You'll tell people, and we've had some great battles over the years.
Serious ones.
Yeah.
Serious.
We haven't
serious
talked for a
ones.
few days
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
But Lynette would always tell me from a really good place inside her what she thought. And sometimes it hurt, but I always took it on board and always bounced back from it. And I think that is brave and courageous. And that's what makes you stand out from the rest when it comes to coaches and people like that. So,
Gosh.
I mean, that's, it's a quality, it really is. So that's the answer to that.
Whoa, these are big answers. These are big answers. Right. We'll do one more each.
Yep.
We'll do one more each. Okay. This is nice. You'll nail it in a moment, and I'm interested to see what you'll say. What is the most common misconception people have about what it's like to be a real estate agent?
Well, I think they think it's easy.
Of course they do.
I think they think it's easy. I think they think we drive around in flash cars and we wear flash clothes and we go out for lunch and have coffees and it's easy.
Yeah.
And hey, look, it's the opposite. It's tough. You're taking on emotions. You're taking on stress. You're taking on every other little facet of selling a property. On your shoulders rather than the owners, because the bad agents will take it on themselves. So the bad agents will put it back on the owners. They'll put the stress and the pressure back on the owners and make them feel crapped. The good agents will try and make smooth out the waters.
Yeah, beautiful.
So you don't fear it. And that's the whole thing, is some of your clients in this market they're not feeling the market because you're taking it away from them,
Yeah.
and you're taking it on your shoulders. That's why we're feeling beaten up when we get home. But I think that's the big thing, is that it's easy. It's not easy. I think the stats for real estate agents are, of the ones that start in a year, 50% are left 6 months, and then 50% are left in another 6 months. So you've got a quarter of the agents still left in the industry after a year, and then most of those agents are making no money.
Exactly.
So it's a really, really tough, challenging industry to get in and get started. But once you started, it can be a wonderful industry.
I agree. I think the most common misconception behind it's easy and it's flashy is that you can't be trusted or that you don't care. And I think, having been a nurse, I think that I've seen as much compassion in this industry as I did when I was a health professional. And once again, that's really, I've never said that out loud or spoken of that before, but at this stage of my career, yes, that's what I think. I've seen as much care and compassion in real estate as I have in health.
I've talked to that before, and because I used to want to be a doctor, and I've talked to how I feel that as really high level agents, we become psychologists,
Practitioners,
and we take on relationship breakups, we take on
death and dying,
and disease and things like that. So we become the person in the middle, and I've always thought that's a privileged position to be. And you can offer so much.
Yeah.
I have clients ring me up who are going through a separation to ask for advice because I'm the neutral person, and maybe they just think I'm the king of breakups. But like we can offer a lot of advice in those situations, and the good real estate agents who have dealt with all of these things before can offer some wonderful advice.
Absolutely.
So that's it's not hard. It's not easy. Not easy.
Totally.
But rewarding.
Very, very, very rewarding. Very, very rewarding. Now,
there's one in there that I remembered, and we weren't going to talk about it, but we'll bring it up because someone asked what watch Lynette's wearing.
No, it was what watch. I took it out.
Oh, did you?
I took it out and I put it over there. What watch are you wearing? Well, shall I say?
You better say.
I say. So I have got on a Rolex Oyster Perpetual Datejust. It's a beautiful watch. I got it through Partridges. They're great people to deal with, watch specialists, and I get a lot of joy wearing it.
Yeah, I love a good watch. I used to be more mad on watches, and I used to spend a lot of money on watches, but not so much these days. But I've got a Rolex Daytona as well, and I love it. I wear this watch quite a lot, and I love it.
Oh, perfect.
It's cool.
Perfect. So Cam, we've actually gone a lot deeper than I expected today. I thought we'd skip along with the market and would have bloody easy questions, and none of them have been easy, and all of them, I think, have shined a light on the man you are and your level of integrity.
And you as a mentor and a coach and that. I think one of the things that are going back to choppy waters at the moment, it keeps you sharp. Like I've actually, as I said, I've enjoyed this year in real estate. I think I'm doing better real estate. And, as a business, we're doing really well because it's forcing us to think, it's forcing us to work hard.
Yeah.
And like as business owners, because everyone, thinks that once you've made it, you just sit back in your big chair and break the money in. But it doesn't happen like that. It's hard work.
Well, yesterday, the day before, I was at the office at 7 and I had the Hoover out because a tradesman had been through and there was crap everywhere. So I was hoovering up, and then at the end of the day, so that's 7, and then at 7 p.m, we're finishing off a recruitment event, and the guy, one of the people that came along, he said, I really rate that you're here, and you're the owner. And I said, well, where else would I be? I said, if you'd have been here earlier, you'd just seen me doing the hoovering. So,
I mean,
that's the way it is.
I got home the other night. I got home at 9 o'clock at night. I cooked my steak up, and I sat down to eat it, and I looked at my watch, and it was 9:30, and I thought, bloody hell.
Did you have vegetables?
No vegetables, just steak, eggs, and a few berries. And it
a
was
few berries
holistic
on your steak.
Animal based diet. And it was I just thought to myself, wow, where's the day gone? And you know what? I loved every minute of the day. But it was a long day, and we're working really hard at the moment.
We are. So hey, shall we say more questions? Because obviously people like to send questions, and we've got a few that are unanswered, and a few of that I took out because they're just a bit personal, but we might get to those one day. But hey, Cam, thank you. We will be talking in April.
We're meant to be doing this every month.
We are.
We've
missed 2 months.
2 months. So
2 months.
We'll have to kind of catch those up.
Yeah, we will catch them up. But it's been
we made a commitment at the start of the year was we're going to do monthly. So we'll endeavour to catch those up.
Yeah, we will. We will catch them up.
We might be to film 2 in one go or something like that.
Yeah,
so by the end of the year, we're going to stick to it. I'm going to make it.
Keep us on that. So till we get together next time. Thank you.
Thank you.